Hey, welcome to the Take It Back show today with Tommy and Tina, our beautiful IQ podcast studio uh, by Attorney King Studios, actually, here in Coronado, California. And today we are so happy to have with us a Nashville native, an amazing Nashville native, singer, songwriter, platinum albums, Grammy winning songs, you name it. And now documentary filmmaker, not mayor.
I'll take
Um,
the mayor.
You're
okay,
right. You didn't know you ran for office, right?
Probably.
Sheri Pedigo. And Sheri, I'm so happy to have you on the show and to talk about your documentary, Father Me, which is just amazing, amazing film. And I'm going to turn it over to Tina right now to do our normal things that we start off the show with.
Well, before we get to talk to you, Sherry, we want to thank our studio sponsors, our show sponsors, Attorney King, um, Sequan Casino and Resort, IB Fitness, and Nikki Rotten's here in Coronado. So, welcome, Sherry. It's so great to have you here. It's a pleasure to meet you. I will, in fact, say that I had a chance to watch your documentary, Father Me. Amazing, amazing. Tell us a little bit more about um, how you got into this filmmaking because it's
Well, first
amazing.
of all, I was born in Kentucky. I want to make sure you guys know that I was born in Kentucky, and I lived in Nashville. Moved out to Los Angeles from Nashville, and I came out here to work on a TV show. I didn't really think acting and all that was going to be a long term thing for me because I'm all about music, songwriting, guitar, piano. I mean, that's been my whole life, writing music. And I would say this project kind of found me and was pulling on my heart for a good year. And I actually wrote a script about what happened to me in a relationship with a guy in country music that father um, we both had father struggles. I guess I could call it like that because his was absentee and my story was a little different. My father grew up without a dad, and my father was always a little distant and not emotionally attached. And for me, I was always choosing guys that were non emotionally attached because that's what you do. So I discovered it was a pattern in my life, and I knew I had to write my story. I had to write it. I wrote my script in 3 months. Now, I'm not a script writer, but my friends, well, Penn Desham, he told me he wrote the Robin Hood, the Robin Hood, what's it called? Thieves. I forgot the name of it. But Molly Flanders, he wrote a lot of films, and I got invited to a filmmaking event at the Marriott Hotel in Burbank, ironically. And I was like, why am I here? I'm not a script writer, but I met him and I ended up at his table. And I was impressed by him because he said, anybody can write a script. You just write it, write your story, write your truth, be passionate and truthful about it. And I was like, in my heart, I was like, I think I really need to write what I have just come through and still coming through. And so I put pen to paper and started, and it was because of his encouragement. Wrote my first screenplay, which got some notoriety and some people involved with it that were pretty heavyweights in the industry. And anyway, I put that on hold. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why I did, but I put it on hold and I decided I needed to do a documentary on the subject of absentee fathers. And I just started calling people I knew, and I felt like I needed to have some a celebrity attachment to it. And so I called up a few people that I knew who'd never told their story before. And I didn't even think they would. And it was like open arms. Yeah. And they say you build it, they show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true.
Mhm.
If you start a project and you have your heart and passion to do it, and it's for the higher good of everybody to see it, to heal, I believe that the path will be made for you and the right team will show. And that's what happened with me. I started this in November 2019. I called up Harmony Samuels, record producer Harmony Samuels, who I had not seen in several years, and asked him if he would do my interview for. And I had named the script Father Me. I had written the song Father Me, and I thought I'm going to call the documentary Father Me as well. So that's a lot. You didn't ask me all that, but I told you.
No, but it's great because
That's great.
this was such an amazing film to watch and to see. It's not just absenteeism, it's like not being there soulfully for your children.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's you know what I didn't realize when the documentary for me healed my life. I mean, it really did. And seeing those guys be so vulnerable and
Mhm.
tell their triumphs, because they all came through some, I mean, with Damon Jones, I mean, he never knew his dad. And he literally came and he had a son that he was distant from. And so, without telling my documentary, but it's true. They're not all of the interviews were different.
Right.
Everybody's journey is different, you
Right.
know. And I didn't grow up with an abusive father or anything. I didn't. I love my father, but I was always trying to fix my dad. I was always trying to I don't know. I just always felt this thing with him, like I was always trying to get him to communicate,
Mhm.
because he just was not a good communicator. And I realized why he wasn't doing this documentary, and it kind of set me free because I let go of some of my, how you have expectations. You expect somebody to behave in a certain way.
Right.
You can't expect anybody to behave in a way when they can't give it. If
Right.
it's something given to them, it's hard for them to give it out. So, it's that's what I really discovered. I have to release it and not expect anything. Because when you expect and you don't get it, you get really hurt.
Right.
So then you carry that hurt in your heart, and it's not a good thing.
And that starts to overshadow whatever you're doing because you can't break away from focusing on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And so my goal was to create a place for people to heal in this and to help them go deep, and you can't really be successful to the plateau that you're supposed to go if you've got all this stuff holding you back. It's like chains holding you down. You have to be free of it. Emotional chains are horrific burdens on the heart. They're like heavy weights around the heart. And emotional healing is a huge, huge thing that's needed. And so
Mhm.
Right. Tommy and I were talking on the way down here in the car. Um, you know, I watched the film yesterday and I'm amazed at, all the different scenarios that happen. I know with my father, I thank God both my parents are still with us. But they're getting up in age. And, growing up, my dad was hardworking. He always provided for us. He was, he kept us involved. We did, he had 4 daughters. So we did the fishing, we did the yard work. I put a roof up at our house with him. We poured a driveway. We did all these great things. But growing up, he never really said he loved me.
wow.
And that was one thing we kind of went, okay, well, as I've grown and I've been more vocal about telling my dad I love him, he always responds back with, I love you more. So I always knew he loved us and
Yeah.
he was just an amazing man. None of us are perfect. Nobody knows what, like they say, there's no directional book, there's no pamphlet that says, hey, this is how you're going to be as a parent.
Yeah.
But seeing the different scenarios in your film just threw me. And I'll be honest, I cried because I just thought, wow, you don't think that, people have these different scenarios. And it was very eye opening. So,
Yeah.
I was sitting with stuntman Bob Yerke last night. He came to my premiere, and he's going to be 90 in February. Now, Bob has worked in every film you can. I mean, he slid down the Back to the Future. He was the one that slid down the, to get into the car.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the light tower?
Yeah, there you go. Well, he did.
Clock tower.
Angels and Demons. Hank, Tom Hanks called him up to be in the film. I mean, that's his. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's worked with so many big films. So I went over his house last night, and he wanted the DVD. He said, "Can I get a copy of the DVD?" I said, "Okay, Bob, I'll bring you a copy of the DVD." And then he wanted to watch it with me, and I sat there and I watched it with him, and I got so emotional watching it with him because I looked over at him, and he's a cut up. He always cuts up. He can never be serious. You have a serious conversation, he's going to find a joke in it. Huh. And then he didn't joke last night, and I was like, I watched him, and then and he came to the premiere, and so afterwards he says, "You're a very talented young lady," and he had tears in his eyes.
Oh.
And he told me that not his biological son, maybe I should be saying this on, well, I guess it doesn't matter. His adopted son won't talk to him and has a lot of pent up stuff towards him. Mm-hmm. And there's a part in the documentary where that subject is actually brought up, and with Harmony, how he reached out and he finally forgave his father. He says when his dad called to fix the problem, he would just hang up, or he had a lot of anger. He had so much anger. But see, that heart of stone, you can't take that anger with you to the grave, because you have to make peace. And it's so hard for some people to make peace when they've been abused. And I get that. I am so not a psychologist. I will never say I am. I can't fix the problem. But there are people out there who can walk you through it. And I was on the phone with the foundation yesterday, the Fatherless Foundation, an amazing Dr. Tori, amazing foundation. And so we talked, and she's viewing my documentary. She hasn't viewed it yet. But she contacted me. I reached out to her because I've been looking at different foundations, because I don't know where this is going. I right now it's a 25-minute short. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about turning it into a full feature. I still may. I self-funded this with the help of many friends that came along and just were there. Mm-hmm. And I do want to do a touring documentary, because I want to be able to show it, sing the song, because I wrote the music and I sing the soundtrack, and that is who I really am as a musician and songwriter. So I want to be able to share the documentary and sing, and also do a Q&A afterwards. Sure. And open it up and have guests on, that come. If I'm in Tulsa, if I'm in New York, if I'm in Korea, wherever I'm at, this is a worldwide pandemic, social pandemic. Right. It's not just in America.
Right.
It's worldwide. And one of the things that Dr. Tori told me yesterday, which I found very interesting, she's getting calls from Singapore. And she goes, I had to look up and start seeing, do they have fatherless issues in Singapore? And we were talking about it being a global social pandemic. And, it's exciting to be a part of something that is creating healing for people, instead of just creating a project and then it's come and goes. It's you got a purpose in life that changes lives. It's so much more fulfilling than just singing a great song. Or, I can be on any stage any day and time, but
right.
There's something great about just seeing a life transformed. I am so stoked about where this could go. Mm-hmm. But people like you having me on the podcast, listeners that listen, they can maybe reach out. Hey, we want to have you come to our event center. We want to host you. We want to have you come, and let it be seen. And you don't know who's going to be sitting in the audience.
No, you could touch one person and consider that a victory.
Right.
A victory is exactly right.
I was telling you the other day, I didn't really have a problem with my dad, and we were really close. And when I watched your video, and it choked me up some, because it made me start thinking more, not about having a problem, but it kind of went to why my dad didn't do some things with me when we were growing up. We never played ball. we never tossed the football. He would always get me things, and he was great. But then I found out, I thought about it, and he never knew who his dad was, and he was raised by his mom, my grandma, as she was a teenage mother, and he was that was his exposure. And it wasn't until he went in the military during World War II that he was actually adopted by my grandmother's dad or husband and took on the name Anderson. And so it was that brought to me that, yeah, was that disconnect. He overcompensated being so great to us, but he could not relate on another level of doing things with you, if that makes sense.
No,
And that really made me think about it, something I hadn't thought about in a very long time. And it was like, wow, that's just exactly what I said. It is wow. And it really meant a lot to me. It actually brought me closer to my dad, who's passed away now. And and I thank you for giving me that gift.
Don't make me cry.
I know.
Oh, no.
I'm going to pinch him because he's going to make me cry.
Not you, Sheri. You won't cry.
It's, it's amazing. We're all human. And I see when people open up this conversation about what's going on, like you said, it's a pandemic. It really is. And I think as we get older, they say, oh, you can't be responsible for what your parents did to you. You're an adult. Well, yeah. Now, as adults, some of us, like you, I don't want to give away your film, but it's talking about reaching out to your parents even after. And that actually would help as an adult. That would help you as a parent as well, as a father.
Yeah.
And
thanks for sharing that, Tommy, because, people go, well, it's the gang kids. They had no fathers. No, it's fathers that a lot of them were too busy. They were working. They were trying to keep the roof over their heads,
right.
And it wasn't that they didn't want to be there, then the kids are wanting to be with their dads and the mom can't be both. I mean, she can't. You have to create the balance, and, I think we need to have more compassion for our fathers. I mean, and let go of the anger, because I have conversations with people. I'll be on an airplane, just sitting with somebody. It happens almost every flight I'm on now. I don't know. I just sit with somebody. I always talk about the film. And because they ask, what do you do? We get in conversations with our mask on. And we're talking. Because I'm a very approachable person. I'm not like this on a flight. I'm like, hey, hey. Oh, the pilot's up there. I mean, that's just me. No matter what kind of day I'm having, I still like to talk to people,
That's me. I talk to everybody.
You do. We met at the film festival. Like, you were the first person I met,
Yeah.
And I was like, I like this dude. He's cool. But like up on the flight, like back to the flight here. So I'm on a flight, and then what do you do? Well, I'm working on a documentary. What's your documentary about? Then I tell them what it's about, and they get quiet. And then here it goes. And then before I know it, I'm sitting there talking, and I'm helping them understand their dads. I got to call my dad now. I mean, I can't tell you how many people that listen. If I never win an Oscar for this, if it never makes it to the big screens, I don't care, because the people's lives that I'm touching along the way is eternal for me.
Right.
That's something you cannot put a price tag on, and nobody can steal that from me. Nobody can steal that from me. And I've been stolen from. Oh, I have. But I move on, and I move on in God, because this is God's heart. It's
Absolutely.
His heart. I was just a vessel in which it came through, and many times I wanted to quit. I'm not going to lie. Many times I was like, I can't do this, and it got rough many times along the way. And, my editor was screaming at me at one point. He was like, I'm done, because we had so many issues with sound, like the air conditioner was going off. And I'm going, why didn't we hear that? Then I heard it, but I was trusting that my sound guy, and afterwards I go, did you hear that air conditioner? And he goes, well, the lapels won't pick it up. Well, they picked it up. So
Yes.
into my editors, like, oh my God. So I tell you, editors, I have much respect for editors. I really do. I have a lot of respect for them. So
Yeah, it's a tough job.
yeah, it's a lot different world than mixing a record, I'll tell you.
Well-
Whole different world. So
Well, on top of that, you're a filmmaker. You are a singer-songwriter. Again, heard your song "Father Me" on the film. It's beautiful. I'm curious because I feel like I live under a rock these days, and I'm sorry that I didn't know you by name
oh
when Tommy told me, and I thought, she looks very familiar. But what else? What else are you doing with your music? Let's talk
well,
about
I
that.
mean, I've done a lot with my music. I've been on many stages with many amazing artists, and I've learned from some of the best in the Motown world.
Wow.
I'm noticing what you have written there about me. I did not win a Grammy. I was up for a Grammy.
Okay.
I am a triple platinum songwriter. I worked with a very famous rock band in Switzerland. They were signed to Nuclear Blast out of Germany. And I was over there working when the band actually heard me and come up to me and approached me at a gig telling me that they loved my voice and my lyrics to my music. So that's how that came about. I ended up, most of my life's been like that. It's just really being at the right place at the right time
Right.
and getting discovered, and I wrote a song that was up for in the jazz category. I've written everything from rock, jazz, country. I've written so much stuff. Sometimes I forget what I've written and what I've done because I'm always in the next phase of where I'm going and not where I've been. And I forget things I've done. I mean, I don't know why, but I do. I'm never thinking about what I've done. I'm always thinking about where I'm going. But I was up for in the jazz category. We had a song that I co-wrote, and it was up for a Grammy. But we didn't win the Grammy, but we were nominated for the Grammy.
Hey, I think that's just as good.
We were nominated.
That's nothing to
Well,
to shy away
Right,
from.
well, we won the Swiss Awards, and
nice.
I mean, it was Europe was a pretty big platform for me, and also in the EDM world, I had a song that I wrote called Caravana, which is caravan, and it was on the red carpet. They played it on the red carpets for the Cannes Film Festival in 2010, and also it was on a big compilation disc for the EDM world, and that was distributed all over the European market. EDM dance music.
Right.
Wow.
Pretty powerful song, and it was also in a documentary for Mustang horses because I'm an advocate for horses, and the wild Mustangs are dear to my heart. That's why when Tommy was talking about working on a project that's with got horses, I'm all there. I actually was a huge voice in stopping the horse slaughtering plant from opening in Roswell, New Mexico in 2012 when they tried to open up a horse slaughtering plant here in our territory. And Bo Derek had stopped it back in 2007. And I was a big voice in that in 2012. I called the LA Times. I got a hold of the guy that owned the slaughtering plant. I was the only one that he even got on the phone with. And I asked him a bunch of questions and what was the motive for this? Why? Because he originally had another, they had just animal slaughters for cows and stuff. And he said, just not making enough money, da, 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 da. And I was like, horses are, I mean, I brought up this. Don't you believe that Jesus is coming back on a horse? So I brought that in.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, that's kind of close to the heart of God, a horse. I don't think we're supposed to eat them. And, then I'm going way off script here.
No.
But I'm such a horse person. But anyway, there was an article, did all my research before I called him. There was an article about Roy Rogers, and Roswell, New Mexico was his favorite land to ride horses on. So I'm bringing all this up, and this guy starts to melt on the phone. He gets real emotional. And he goes, well, we've got to do what we got to do. Do you know they shut the plant down? I called the LA Times. I got a hold of them. I had all my script out. I had everything. And I was in the middle of moving at the same time. This was a very, very stressful time for me to be doing this. But I said, I've got to do it. Who's going to do it if I don't? I've got to do this. Because I was so passionate about it. And when I'm passionate about it, things get done. I don't mess around. I make it happen. I don't care if I have to push my way in. I've got to get the subject to the forefront. And so they printed the article in the LA Times. I still have it. And it ended up getting so much attention that they shut that whole thing down.
Oh, thank God.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Praise God.
So that doesn't mean they're not still slaughtering
Right.
our wild Mustangs and our horses, from the racetracks, some of them that go into, a lot of people don't know this, but it's the truth. You can look it up. It's true.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Right.
And so anyway, I appreciate you doing a movie with 5 horses because I think there needs to be more Westerns done. We need to.
I appreciate the fact that you came on board with me on it.
Yeah. Hey.
And you know what? We've got another show here on the IQ Podcast Network called Coexist. Cole Lewis hosts it, and she's a big animal rescue advocate. She has a rescue in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And you would be perfect to have on her show about the Mustang rescues. And in fact, we have a Halloween party that's going to be coming up that she's hosting to raise money for rescues, for these type of large rescues. So there's just another avenue for you. Oh, it's October
1st. It's going to be at,
yeah.
Here, let me show hopefully you guys can see it all. Saving Souls. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, you guys want to look on the IQ
Take a picture. Saving souls. We love it. I want to bring up something before I forget. James Kleinart, he used my song in one of his documentaries with the Wild Mustangs, and I've interviewed him. But he last night he had on YouTube, they had one of his documentaries, Wild Mustangs and Renegades, and I encourage people to follow him. James Kleinart, he's got a huge heart for the Wild Mustangs. He is the reason why I became educated about these horses, because I was invited to a private viewing of his first documentary in a home in Malibu, and I met him, and I got so moved by what was happening with our horses that when I get moved by something, I'm on board. I go to almost to the bitter end. I showed up at Ridgecrest. I went to the BLM. I had to pull the records out. I'm there with a camera crew. I'm like, I had my buddy from HBO. I said, "You're going, we're going," and I got him on board. I got so many people on board. I caused a scene at the BLM, but I uncovered some stuff. Anyway, I shouldn't be talking about this on here, but there's a lot of things that aren't right, and we, the people, have to stand for what's right.
Right.
We have to be, if we don't create an avenue for people to know what's going on, that are willing to know what's going on, then, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, especially with the knowledge of it. It's like I have the knowledge of how to heal. And now that I've been awakened to see why my dad did what he did, I want to help other people see the reason why their dad did. Shame on me if I don't do something when I've got the opportunity to do it with the friends that came on board to help me do it. Right. I could have stopped in the middle of this because it got too hard. I didn't. I was a chariot of fire. I kept going. That movie, The Chariot of Fire, right? They crossed the finish line against all odds.
Right.
And sometimes you just got to take that baton. And I was a baton. I ran the track and field. I did the relay teams. And I was a girl that took it home in school. And I'm the girl that's taking it home now. And I'm going to keep going.
You're a force to be reckoned with. Honestly.
That's awesome.
I love your tenacity. I love your moxie. You are just a light in this world. And just getting to know you in the last 30 minutes. I adore you. So you have another fan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well,
Definitely.
God works in mysterious ways,
Yeah.
He brings people
Absolutely.
together. Tommy said that to me. God brings people together for a reason, for a season,
Right.
and we can't miss it. We
Right.
can't be too busy and miss it.
Exactly.
I don't
Yep.
want to
Exactly.
miss where I'm supposed to go because I'm getting distracted by the news or the negativity or what appears to be going on.
Mhm.
I just have to stay focused. We have to be so focused right now.
Yes.
And I love to be around people that have passion. Tommy has so much passion for his projects. I'm like, I'm there. I'm there. When I'm around people when I meet people like Tommy, it's like, dude, I'm there, because this is the kind of people I want to be around.
Right.
And we are to support one another. My stage is your stage. I don't
Yeah.
I can't do this alone. It takes a village. I sent a letter out to every single person that worked on my documentary. And I said, this is your film. This is what you created.
Mhm.
And we're all like, thank you. This is when I win, you win. We
Right.
all, because we are a village of people together. You
Right.
don't get a basketball team out there and you got the guard out there shooting the hoops, guarding everybody, stealing the ball. He's not doing it all. He's got a team.
Right.
He's got a team. He's got the whole people backing him, the ones that are backing the people off for him to make it to the goal. He passes it over there. He's the other ones. I mean, we need each other.
Absolutely.
We have to help each other. And if you got this person over here, greedy and oh, I did this. No, that's not it. That's not a team. And that's not the way to win. And if you think you're winning because you stole it, or if you think you're winning because you had to go the shortcut to get there, you're not winning. And you're going to go to bed at night and go, I can't sleep because I know what I did. You got to give with your heart and the purity of your heart, and not worry about the rest.
Right.
Right.
Keep you up, because there's always going to be a wolf at the door. There's always going to be one. There's always going to be somebody trying to hold you back.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
going to be jealous people. There's going to be people that don't see the vision. You have to keep going all the time. You have to keep moving. And I tell kids that are joining that I am not afraid of listen, I was in a shootout the other day in Northridge. And I
Mhm.
told the kid who was shooting at the other guy, because I went to get my hair cut, and there was somebody stole something, and bam, off they go. And the first thing I said, the kid probably stole those $300 pair of shoes. And it's not worth killing somebody over a $300 pair of shoes,
Nope.
because he probably didn't have a dad that ever bought him a pair of $300 pair of shoes, or he never
Mhm.
bought him anything, or never even paid attention to him. That was my first thought. Don't know that that's true, but I had compassion. I feel bad that the kid felt he had to steal. Nobody has to steal. There's enough for all of us. And
Right.
if you give, you receive. And, there's kids join gangs because the gang becomes their father.
Definitely.
Right.
The
Because that father
Taliban,
was. Oh, go ahead.
the Taliban, I looked it up. I was like, how did the Taliban start? Because I was going deep, because I'm a deep thinker. It's like, okay, let me research this. How did the Taliban start? You know how the Taliban started? Refugees. One guy wanted to have his own vision of what his belief was,
Mhm.
because you got radicals in every belief system. You got them in every belief. I don't care what
Right.
you believe. They're in all
Right.
of them. You got your radicals. He's creating his own thing because he wants to be a leader and he wants to be worshipped. He wants to be followed. So what's he do? He gets the refugees.
Mhm.
What's the terminology for a refugee? Tommy, give it to me. What's a refugee?
What's the terminology?
Yeah, what's a refugee? What
A
do you think?
refugee is somebody looking for a place to land.
Looking for refuge. Somebody
Yeah.
that's out there lost.
Mhm.
Why are they out there lost? Where's the parents? Where's the leadership?
Right.
And I thought, man, everybody's waiting for a purpose. And fathers need to do their job. They got to be present. And moms, don't keep the dads away from the kids.
Amen.
You agree with them or you don't. That's
Right. Absolutely.
It is a mistake. And I've heard it over and over. from the kids I've met, yeah, it's deep. It's deep. We need leadership in our homes. Dads, you're important. We need you.
Yeah, when you see the statistics about how many single parent homes there are, especially in minority communities, it's shocking, and how it has grown or quadrupled, I think, in 50 years. It's unbelievable, and those are all, both men and women are going to be lost people, because even a daughter needs a father,
Absolutely.
and you need and moms try the best they can. It's but it's hard for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girls end up choosing guys that they're looking for their fathers in, and those relationships just don't last because they're looking for the wrong person,
Right.
right type of a person that they need, and they'll go out picking these guys that are unavailable and all kinds of stuff, and it still leaves that hole in your heart because the guy you're dating can't be your father, and he can't fill, you can't expect him to fill that void. So healthy choices in life. I mean, the reason why I'm still not married is because I chose all these guys I was trying to fix, and every one of them had father issues. When I got back to looking, I said, "Oh my God, I didn't date one healthy guy, not one had a good dad in his life." I'm going, "Oh, okay, that says it all."
Hmm.
You got to get healthy to make healthy choices.
Absolutely. That's really profound. That's so true.
Well, I'm just amazed at who you are as a person, as an artist, as a woman. I mean, more power to you, honestly. Like I said, I love your tenacity and your moxie and your just go getter kind of attitude. And Tommy was right. He said, "You're going to love her." And I do. And I'm sure all of our listeners and viewers out there absolutely already adore you. And do you have, social media anywhere that we can
Yeah, I do.
check you out, or your Instagram? Can you give us some of those
I'm,
links?
I'm not a Twitter girl, but
Okay.
I'm an Instagram girl, and I'm a Facebook girl, and I'm very much in LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn is you'll find me there. I post there, and I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit.
Okay.
And I have a website that I created.
Yay. Good girl.
I was going to hire somebody to do it, and I was like, do I want to try to chase somebody down all the time to try to change one thing when I need it changed? And I just didn't. I wanted to be hands-on with it, and it was a lot easier creating a website than I thought. They make it easy these days.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yes,
say
they do.
editing's easy, but creating a website was. I did it one day. I was very proud of it. I'm more proud of myself that I created a website than I was that I did this documentary.
Oh God.
Because I was like, dude, I'm not doing a website. I mean, I'm not doing a website. And I finally said one day, I'm going to do a website.
There you
And
go.
so I created Father Me the Documentary, fathermethedocumentary.com.
Okay.
So yeah,
Perfect.
you can
Father
reach
me,
me.
the document. Yeah.
You can email me on there as well. And
Yeah.
Instagram is just, SHERI, like it says there. You'll find me. You see what I look like. I don't think anybody else looks like me on a Sheri Pedigo. Maybe Jane Seymour. That was her double.
There you go.
That was her double. Many moons ago, when I first came to LA, I stood in for her CBS Welcome Home and several TV shows she did. Our last episode of Dr. Quinn I was on. So that's what brought me here. So to LA.
That is so awesome.
30 pounds lighter then. I'm not heavy now, but I was skin and bones when I came to LA. And I'll tell you why, because I was dating a guy who had father issues and he was controlling my diet.
Oh God.
I let him, I couldn't eat any carbs with him. I mean, he was so controlling. And that's why I left Nashville. I got away from him because I knew I had to get out of that relationship. He was extremely controlling, and he had major father issues. which I helped him with before his father passed away.
Mm.
I helped him forgive his dad. Even
Wow.
then, I was helping, before I even thought about doing anything like this, I was fixing all their dad issues when I was needing to fix my own. And there's a song in that somewhere.
There is.
Yes. Well,
I can hear it already.
I said before, you're a very empathetic person, and you can see that with we want to fix everybody, and
It's
we
a
have to
fault
pick and
sometimes.
choose.
I have to really try not to fix everything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
can wear
Do you
yourself
have your
out.
Do you have your guitar anywhere nearby you?
I do have my guitar now. I don't know if it's in tune because I haven't
well.
played it since I've been here having the time, but I'm going to be rehearsing.
Okay.
I've got to rehearse later today or tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to do it at some point. Yeah, it's underneath the bed, and but do you want me to sing the song?
I would love
Yes,
for you
would
to
you
sing a
please?
little bit of yes. That would be
Um,
amazing.
That'd be
Well,
wonderful.
how much time do we have left on this podcast? Do y'all have a commercial break you got to go to or anything?
I can.
We
I
can
could
run
give
through the
shout out-
sponsors
yeah,
again.
I can shout out. I'll give you a couple
I'll
of
go
minutes.
get it and I'll see if it's in tune.
All
Okay.
right, awesome. Thank you. So you are here today watching the Take It Back show with Tommy and Tina. We are here at Attorney King Studio on IQ Podcasts. We'd like to thank Attorney King, Sequan Casino and Resort, IB Fitness, and Nikki Rotten's. We just had lunch at Nikki Rotten's. It was delicious. So if you guys are in Coronado, come out here and do an afternoon lunchtime. It was delicious. I had the chicken salad with the feta cheese and the gorgonzola. Yeah, it was delicious. And Tommy had a patty melt with tater tots.
It was unbelievable.
But yeah, we're here with Sheri. Is it Pedigo or Pedigo?
Pedigo.
Pedigo. And she's a singer-songwriter, filmmaker, and we're going to have the pleasure of hearing her sing for us, play a little bit.
This guitar hasn't been played in about 3 months and it's still in tune.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Taylor, I want to shout out to you, Taylor Guitars. We love you, Taylor.
Perfect.
I had a fractured rib and I haven't picked it up. So I've just healed from this rib fracture. And I haven't been doing anything. I've been really careful with this to heal. So, you ready?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me where to begin. I'm down on the floor, on my knees again. Searching for that missing person whose blood flows inside of me. Can you hear me now? Or is the distance too loud? You're the only place that I feel safe. Daddy, open your arms. Your eyes are looking for me. I know you can make me the person I'm supposed to be. Show me how to forgive and teach me how to believe. Come erase the raging pain of what it couldn't be, and find me, find me. I wanted to hate you for the things you didn't do. I left you by myself and I blame me for losing you. I finally gave in, crying, Father, forgive him, for we know not what we do. Daddy, open your arms, your eyes are looking for me. I know you can make me the person I'm supposed to be. Show me how to forgive and teach me how to believe. Come erase the raging pain of what he couldn't be, and find me, find me. to the fatherless, you finally understand. You took the nail out of my heart and placed it in your hands. Daddy, open your arms. Your eyes are looking through me. I know you can make me the person I'm supposed to be. Oh, and show me how to forgive and teach me how to believe. Come erase the raging flame of what he couldn't be. Daddy, open your arms. Your eyes are looking through me. I know you can make me the person I'm supposed to be. Daddy, open your arms. Your eyes are looking through me. I know you can make me the person I'm supposed to be. And father me. Father me. Father me.
That
Oh
was
my
awesome, Sheri. Just awesome.
Thank
I'm
you.
not crying, you're crying.
My fingernails are long too.
No,
Sherry. Oh,
you got the girls in the studio crying.
Oh.
and the guys.
No, some of us are stoic. I'll
Oh,
cry later.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Oh.
crying is good. Crying
Yes,
is
it
good.
is.
It releases, was it endorphins, is it? Releases
Yeah.
something.
It's very
Anyway.
cathartic.
Endorphins.
It's cathartic. It's cleansing. It absolutely is cleansing. And your music is wonderful. You're a beautiful soul. And we would love to have you back on again. We'll talk about the future projects with Tommy and your music and your documentary. Everybody out there, the documentary is called Father Me. We're here at the Take It Back show with Tommy and Tina, and our guest today has been Sheri Pedigo. It's really hard to say. I have a loss for words, and that's not me.
That's not her.
Yeah, I am crying, and it was beautiful. We really do want to have you back on sometime, and we thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me. And
Oh, thanks,
any of the
Sheri. I mean,
listeners who reach out to me, I can reach out to me. Find me through my website. Feel free to reach out. So
it's amazing.
absolutely.
This is where we close the show, even though I don't want to. I'd love to sit here forever and just chat with you. But we're going to again thank IQ Podcasts, first of all, for letting us be here. The Take It Back show with Tommy and Tina, a little over a year ago, we started this to help people out. Meeting you was no accident. We often say that about how we meet people.
Right.
But our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do it without them. Attorney King, we are here at Attorney King Studios here in Coronado. IB Fitness, Saquon Casino and Resort, and Nikki Rottens. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Look forward to having you again, Sheri.
Yeah. Thanks, Sheri.
Ooh. I'm not crying.